I'm burning, I'm burning, burning for you.
Cowboys definition of all in, or maybe Cowboys fans, I should say, but a couple of moves came out of Dallas over the weekend. Linebacker Leighton Vander Esch retired. They also released wide receiver Michael Gallup. Now all eyes turn to Dak and his contract. So Adam, what more can you tell us about his situation?
Well, Laura, as Field Yates reported today, he's reworked his contract, but it's a situation where he still has not gotten the long-term extension, and he's still sitting on the Cowboys' books for over $55.5 million. So it's still a big number. And the fact of the matter is that is really stifling to their salary cap. And Jerry Jones says they're all in. But the fact of the matter is basically they can't do a lot because of that number. And they're in a situation where after this year, Dak Prescott can become a free agent. He can't be tagged. He can't be traded. So this becomes a real quandary that's only going to grow in stature as time goes on.
Yeah, reallocating $4 million of the $59 million that they're dealing with there. Mina, what do you think about the Cowboys not committing to a long-term deal with Dak? It has to say something, right?
Yeah, we'll see. There's still time left. I just can't help but marvel at how much leverage Dak Prescott has. Like, we talk a lot about Kirk Cousins being a legend at the bank because of the way, he played things out with the tag and then getting those guaranteed deals. Dak Prescott has followed a fairly similar, not exactly the same playbook. Because think about this, Laura. Kirk Cousins this year signed a contract as a true free agent for 4 years, $180 million. If Dak Prescott had been a free agent this offseason, $50 million a year, easily. If he's a free agent next year, I can only imagine the kind of money he were to get if he were to play next year at the same level he played at during the regular season. I realize that's an operative phrase there, this year. And to that end, there's no reason why he should take any sort of discount from the Dallas Cowboys, especially given, as you guys laid out, his contract does, and the current cap hit does prevent them from doing certain signings and spending their money. From Dallas's perspective, I'll say this. The likelihood that they would move on from Dak Prescott and improve at the quarterback position is very, very low. Coming off of this show where we're talking about how desperate Minnesota is now and the kind of trades they'd be making, and it's still just a shot in the dark in the draft. Dallas has one of those quarterbacks that every team wants. And so I feel like they should be motivated to get something done. I don't know if they will based on how this is dragged out. And Dak Prescott has all the leverage in the world.
Yeah, there is time. Look, the $5 million they converted over the weekend, there was a deadline on that. That was a roster bonus, and if it had triggered, they wouldn't have been able to convert that money. They still have almost $28 million in salary this year that they could knock down and convert into bonus if they did a restructure. The problem is every time you do a restructure, it adds to the 2025 cap charge, which is already up to $40 million, and they don't want that to get any bigger. So I think the interesting point here is they added 2 void years to the contract. They could not do that without Dak Prescott's permission. So at least we know they're talking and that he was willing to accommodate them to that extent. I think the news of today of the roster bonus being restructured makes me more optimistic that they might get to an extension at some point.
What's up, good people? Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. Hope everybody's had a great day. Any day that I'm awake, alive, and can get up out of bed is going to be a great day. And we are like a little over a month away from actually the NFL draft, which, of course, is the high water mark of the offseason for us Cowboy fans. It is cray-cray. Alan Williams in the house. Jeff Lee in the house. Qiana Gibson. Shout out to Qiana. Joanne Gonzalez. What's up, JoJo? How are you doing? One of the lovely ladies. Shout out to Qiana. Boom. In here. Let's see. Let me make sure I get everybody up in here. Lady Libra in the house. What's up, lady? Kevin Wilson. And let's see who else we got. We got Ruben Wall. Shout out, LA boy. How are you doing? Please pay Dak, definitely. Wilkes County boy, what's up, Wilkes County? Maryland Brando, what's going on? Ronnie in the house. How are you doing? And let's see, Derek Young's in the place to be. Tammy, what's up, Tammy? How are you doing tonight? Yeah, when you come up in your John Dodo, you know that you're a troll. You know that you're a troll when you're John Dodo. So what's going on? No name. Can I get a shout out? I've been subscribed since 1993. No name. I'm sorry, but YouTube's only been around since 2007. How could you be subscribed since 1997 and I didn't even have my very first channel till 2012? I'm just saying. Maybe you got your dates wrong there. Okay. All right. So good people. I hope everybody's is in a great spirits and everything else. The Dallas Cowboys now have more than one running back on the roster. We have brought back Rico. We brought back Rico Gathers, and all of 381 yards last year. He'll definitely be able to get more play than he got before. There's Lola, Miss Hot Sauce. What's up, Lola? I thought I had that thing here. Hold on 1 second here, Lola. I am just like out of it today. Here we go. Boom. I think I got it now. I'm burning for you. What's up, Lola? How are you doing tonight? Okay, so Rico is coming back. So we got Rico, and we have, of course, Vaughn for running backs. Okay, there's that. We got Eric Kendricks, so now we got a linebacker, even though we lost Vander Esch. And Trent Williams seems to be getting, everybody's a one deal. It's a 1 year deal. Dak is guilty. Okay, so you got all the evidence there, Thomas? So you were there. You were there with him and the girl at 2 a.m. in the morning outside Club Ecstasy? Or are you just assuming that he's guilty because of all of the trouble he's always in? You know, being NFL Man of the Year and, you know, being out there for trying to help stop cancer and stuff, that he's definitely a guilty character because that's the kind of character that he is, isn't he? Okay. Well, you know, I know how people love when something negative comes up, they want to automatically assume that he's guilty. He's guilty because he's got to be guilty. Come on, man. So Wilkes County boy said, I subbed to you week 1 of 2023 season. Shout out to you, Wilkes County. Because, hey, Wilkes, I'm going to tell you, guess what? You're one of the reasons why I got to 100,000 subscribers. So I appreciate you. Joe, Lola, Lady Lieber, everyone else I miss. Shout out to Tammy. Okay, so the Cowboys are beginning to do what they do, which is slowly but surely, methodically, cheaply, on the down low, bring back players. We've got the Eagles that are going out here making big splashes left and right like they always do, and we'll have to find out if this is going to work. I pointed out that Mike Poland from one of the English from England fan clubs pointed out, and I never had a chance to actually check this out, but it's one of those things that it sounds about right, that the Washington Commanders have spent more in free agency than any other team over the last 3 years. And I can definitely believe that the Cowboys have spent the least. Definitely believe that. And here's the thing. Here's the thing I want to say. I don't want to be defending the Joneses. I don't. But at least I can at least say this much. Next year, if we are really going to blow it up, and I feel like in a way we're already blowing this up somewhat, okay? Typically, we've always brought back all of our own players. You know, we've always heard Stephen Jones up in here saying, you know, we believe in our guys. You know, we believe in our own players. You know, they know our system and they know what we're about and everything else. But We got Jimmy Johnson now. This is where I'm trying to connect all the dots and put all this stuff together. We got Jimmy Johnson, and how do we know that Jimmy Johnson didn't say, listen, you got an attitude problem on running the ball and stopping the run, that the guys that you have, it's just not it, that, maybe, just maybe, you need to change up and you need to look at having bigger players. Now, the Cowboys, of course, just if you're a church-going person, okay, you don't believe in cussing, you're not going to start cussing. You're just not. It's against my belief, my religion. I am not going to cuss because it's what I don't like to do. Well, trying to say, Cowboys, you're going to spend a whole bunch of money in early free agency, that's their religion. They do not do it. They will not do it, and they're not going to do it, okay? So all of us saying the Cowboys should go ahead and do this. Now, all in may be a little bit differently. All in doesn't mean you just go ahead and just spend every nickel that you have. I mean, I've been all in on working on the red brick house, but I've been careful how I spend the money on it. I've been all in to get it done, to make sure this thing is finished. But I couldn't go out and say, I'm going to go ahead and buy, $50 foot moldings to go in here and stuff, or handcrafted plaster moldings and things like that. I was all in and getting it fixed, but I wasn't all in just to go ahead and throw a whole bunch of money away. So I still say, let's see what else they do. What I'm hoping is, the first free agent signing, lovely Linda in the place. What's up, Linda? Top 7 in rushing. Ferguson top 8. Lamb number 2. Sounds like very good playmakers to work with. Well, we don't have Pollard, so Pollard's not there. I think Jake Ferguson is going to continue to rise. CeeDee Lamb is definitely a playmaker, but I think we need a dog to go with him. And I will actually say Brandon Cooks, year number 2, Joe, in the system should be, and being here, should be better as well. But I'll get to that in a minute. So the Cowboys aren't going to go crazy in free agency, but for the Cowboys to actually sign a linebacker that Mike Zimmer knows, steal him from the 49ers who won him, right? 49ers wanted him. He's going to be able to hit the ground running to help teach what Mike Zimmer is trying to do. And I think when we look at the defensive lineman, because people are like, oh, man, Dante Fowler and Dorrance Armstrong and DeVell Gallimore, man, we're losing guys. So wait a minute. Wait a minute. 1 minute we're saying we got a culture problem, right? We got a culture problem. So we get rid of guys that maybe is part of the culture problem, and now everybody's mad that, you can't get rid of those guys. But look, I lost in the playoffs with you. I can lose in the playoffs without you. How about that? Now, here's the thing. So the Cowboys are looking at it this way. Dorrance Armstrong gets 15. Tyron Smith gets like 7 or 6 million. Can't remember what everybody else got, but you're looking at possibly 4 compensatory picks. That's 11 picks that we have currently if we don't trade any for next year. You're also looking at, before you make these contracts, having about $90 million of cap space. $93 million. Now, again, that's going to change some because of what you do with some of these contracts and how you end up doing them. You're going to have to do CDs and so forth. You're going to get some cap room this year if you do CDs, and maybe you have some more money that carries over. Andre Richardson, yes, we have made it over the 100,000 subscribers, and nothing changed. It was just like we were at 90,000, or 80,000, or 70,000. There was no, big explosion, or, I think I'm going to be getting a plaque from YouTube at some point, but we'll see. Sanjay with the super chat. Shout out to Sanjay. they ain't never winning the Super Bowl with that ideology. Well, here's what I'm going to say, Sanjay. Shout out to you, Sanjay. They ain't never win. Okay, Mark, you support the Cowboys when they do the same thing. Yeah, probably. But see, Sanjay, you have to understand, I've been a Cowboy fan all my life. You youngins, you may have the chance to go elsewhere, okay? Maybe you youngins can go elsewhere. But see, you got to understand, bro. Sanjay, you see up here? All-time leading rusher. Emmitt Smith. See right here? Tony Dorsett. Hall of Famer. Up here. Oh, let me grab it. Bob Lilly and Randy White. I have been a Cowboy fan all my life, Sanjay. I have been to the mountaintop and seen them win 5 Super Bowls and seen them lose 3. Now, I will, truth in advertising, I was only 4 when they lost to the Colts. Or was it 5? I guess it was 5. I don't really remember that Super Bowl, but what I do remember is how upset my dad was when they lost. Okay? So what you have to understand is I'm too old to change. And, back in the 80s, you used to have, we had the starter jackets. You had fans out there that had a Cowboys, a Giants, a 49ers, and a Washington jacket in their closet. In fact, I will say, this is what you want to talk about, a bandwagon fan. My ex-wife, literally changed teams that she was rooting for at halftime one time. I knew at that point, wait a minute, you gonna change teams at halftime. At halftime. I was like, nah, this ain't gonna work. Because see, I am a one-team guy. Live and die with the Cowboys. Stacy Schubert, Roland's Review, what's up? How are you doing? Dem Boys Kicks, how are you doing? Marcus Blackman, how goes it? Content M. I still have my Cowboy starter jacket. I wish I still had my Cowboy starter jacket. That and my Zuba pants. My Zuba pants from the 90s. But anyway, here's my thinking, okay? Just give us plausible deniability, okay? Yes, the Eagles loaded up with players and they got to the Super Bowl. And they lost. They lost, okay? But they got there. And even with that, we still beat them one time. San Francisco loaded up and they went to the Super Bowl. And they lost. The Cowboys, yeah, we made the playoffs 3 years in a row. We haven't gone to the Super Bowl. But you know what the difference between the Cowboys and the Eagles, knowing that the Eagles over the last 3 years, just think about I want you to think about this for a second. They are telling you that the Cowboys aren't trying, that they're not good, they suck ass, they don't get in the free agents. Shout out to Law Nation, nothing but the best. I appreciate it, bro. Shout out to you. The Cowboys done nothing in free agency, right? Here's the thing. 3 years ago, Eagles lost to Tampa Bay. 2 years ago, they beat the Giants, they beat the 49ers, they go to the Super Bowl, they lost. This past year, they lose to Tampa Bay and Baker Mayfield. So over the course of the last 3 years, they made the playoffs 3 times, and they won 2 games. 2 games. And I don't know beating the Giants in the playoffs really counts. Does it? That same time, without us really trying, as they say, I think we beat the Eagles 3 of those games, 3 of the 6 we played. We won 1 playoff game and we lost 2. The difference is the Eagles won 1 more playoff game than we did. I can't look and say that they're head and shoulders above us because of all of the players that they brought in. You can look at it, the first year, it was golden. When they went to the Super Bowl, it was golden. But, some of that shine kind of fell off of the Eagles, all the players that they brought in. And if it is true that the Commanders have spent more in free agency than anybody else, that should let you know there ain't no guarantees in that. There are no guarantees in saying if we go out and sign a whole bunch of guys, we're going to win. You actually need to do that more logistically. You really need to be more strategic. That's the better word for it. Mark, if you're going to be loyal to then, you need to critique the Joneses not 24 hours until the end. Oh, no. Now, Sanjay, I've been killing the Joneses. Listen, bro. Sanjay, you must have not been here the first part of the few weeks. I killed, from D-Law talking about we tired to the Joneses' inactivity and doing the same stupid shit, being literally the last ones to make moves. I have been critical. Of them because here's the biggest problem I think that it is with the Cowboys. This, and maybe I'm not using the right term, but laissez-faire. Laissez-faire. They're kind of relaxed. There's no rush to do anything. We'll take care of Dak Prescott's contract in August. Free agency. We don't need to hurry up. Dan Quinn, if he doesn't get hired by somebody, he'll come back. Tyron Smith, Tyron Smith doesn't get a big contract, he'll come back. That drives me freaking insane. If you want something or somebody, you need to go out and say, listen, you're part of our plan. Don't just go willy-nilly about, okay, well, if Dan comes back. Okay, do you want him or not want him? Do your plans include Dan Quinn or not? Because if they don't, when he's out there looking for other jobs, that's when you say, let me get the guy I want right now before he's gone. Let me get him in the building so I can start developing a plan instead of waiting around. Okay, so trust me, bro, Sanjay, I done killed him. I'm kind of stepping back with my emotions, and I'm trying to see if there's actually a plan here. It's not Dr. Pepper content. You know what? I can't even see the damn thing. It's not Dr. Pepper, bro. It's a soda water, okay? Bubbly. Are you new here, Content M? Because I ain't digging your content. You know what? We're going to put you on a little timeout. Kiss my high yellow ass, okay?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, real hating, man, that's like an art form, man. It's like you like a born a hater, like myself, man. A lot of cats think they hate, but, man, I'm mad at everything, man. Brother got a nice car, man. Why you got a car, man? I only got 1 car. Why you got 3 cars or a wife or all that, man? That's played out, man. I hate on it till he's totally broke and ain't got nothing like me, you know what I'm saying? Because, that's what real hating is all about, man.
Trying not to drink sodas because that shit is literally poison, bro. Whether it's Dr. Pepper or generic Dr. Pepper, I ain't drinking sodas. Unless it's a rum and coke, and I ain't drinking a rum and coke then either. Damn. Sitting there coming here just to try and piss a brother off when he's trying to have a real conversation and stuff with me. So what I'm trying to do is get my emotions out, stop for a second and say, this is what they do. But you have to listen. Was Brandon Cooks and Stephon Gilmore different moves and good moves that they made last year? Yes or no? Yes or no? Now, everybody here has said for years, man, Tyron Smith, man, we need to get rid of Tyron Smith, man. Man, he can't stay healthy. Man, get rid of Tyron Smith, right? Tony Pollard, oh, man, he's a bum. He's overpaid, man. Right or wrong? Tyler Biadasz, oh, shit, man. Oh, man, I miss Travis Frederick, man. Where's Travis Frederick? And now we get rid of those guys, and maybe they're looking and saying, we need to replace those with other guys. And since we have so many pieces, honestly, let's be clear here. How many players out there do we look at and say, oh, my God, they would have been a major change for us? When Dorrance Armstrong gets $15 million, are you going to tell me that Dorrance Armstrong is really worth $15 million? Are you going to tell me that one? Because, see, when we got Dorrance Armstrong, nobody thought he was worth anything. He got coached up to be able to do that. And here's the thing. Dorrance Armstrong for next year is going to be a number 4 pick unless we sign a like-numbered contract. So, in essence, you really don't want to make a big free agent signing right now. Not until May, because it'll kill those. Simus says, shout out to Simus says, what's up, man? Simus, man. You know what? I would love to be sitting on a porch talking old school football talk with Simus Says. And I'm going to tell you exactly how it would be like. If you want to know what it would be like, if you've ever seen the movie Life, Martin Lawrence and Eddie Murphy, 2 old guys sitting there drinking some rum and cokes or some Long Island iced teas, getting lit, talking about the glory days of the Dallas Cowboys, back when they used to bitch slap everybody, as opposed to being just bitch slapped now like they have been. Shout out to Eddie B. Mark, I love you and your channel, but I can't take what's happening, which is nothing as usual, until they show me they want to win. I'm out. But we'll support your channel. Congratulations, Mr. 100,000. Eddie! Don't be mad, Eddie. It's the Dallas Cowboys. They believe in drama. Now, here's where I do have some hope. I'm Mr. Positivity. I can't sit here and worry about something I can't change, okay? Here's where I have hope. There are some subtle things that are a little bit different. I know it's small. But you have to look at it and say, maybe there is a little shift. Okay? I know they're not signing the big names, but think about this. Everybody wanted us to sign Odell Beckham Jr. Remember that? Oh, my God, we got to get Odell. Oh, man, we need Odell. Odell. You know, Brandon Cooks was less money and had a better season than Odell. Baltimore signed him to a $50 million contract last year, and they already released him. Mark in a video saying your wife caught you talking to a wall. Are you okay? Sean? No, you missed the point on that, bro. My wife will say, I talk so much and have no problem talking that literally I could talk to a brick wall. And as a matter of fact, this house, these walls, they do talk. They do talk. So, yeah, I'm okay. When this team gets behind, especially in the fourth quarter, we're cooked. And see, Joe, that is very, very true. We do not have that mental fortitude. And see, this is where you start looking at this and saying, okay, I was talking, see, I keep losing my train of thought. Here's the subtle change. Stephen Jones always, it would drive me crazy. We believe in our guys. When you sign other players from outside the organization, you don't know what you're going to get, but we believe in our guys. Okay, I get that premise with how the NFL's changed because you don't practice as much, okay? At least having a guy who knows the playbook and has had some practices and stuff like that. Dirty Sanchez, you are 100% right. Odell Beckham Jr. was overrated, okay? And I'm going to say, listen, and don't act like you mother humpers didn't say this. That when Seattle was looking to trade Russell Wilson, some of y'all said, man, dump Dak, man. We need to trade for Russell Wilson. We go to Super Bowl. We get Russell Wilson. He is a Super Bowl quarterback. Man, we just need to get Russell. You said that shit. You don't act like you didn't. Don't act like you didn't. Just like Colin Cowherd can't say that when Dak Prescott, they just need to move on from Dak Prescott and trade for Derek Carr. You know y'all, yeah, man. And when they said there's no difference between Andy Dalton and Dak Prescott, you mother humpers bought into that shit too. You did. So don't give me that shit. Don't give me that shit. But here's the thing. They let so many players, and I'm not going to say that some of that we couldn't use Dorrance Armstrong, that we couldn't use Dante Fowler. They were good pieces in there. I agree with that, but I don't see the money that they're making. But Dante Fowler was basically roadkill when the Cowboys signed him. How many of you guys, when they signed Dante Fowler, said, "Oh my God, yes, we got Dante Fowler. Man, he's gonna be a great role player." You didn't. You did. What y'all said was, man, he was on the worst defense in football, man, and he got 4.5 sacks. That's all he got, man. We got a bump, and he ended up playing really good for us, and is going to bring us a comp pick. When we let Randy Gregory go, who was $75 million, oh, man, they screwed up. Catboy talking about his numbers and productions right there with Randy Gregory. He's smoking crack. Heck, that damn Catboy's an idiot. You did. You did. But somehow Dorrance Armstrong, out of nowhere, got coached up and became a productive player. So why is it we don't believe that can happen? Because maybe a guy like Sam Williams, going in his third year, needs to get more playing time with a different coach. And what if Sam Williams is able to do the production that Dorrance Armstrong? I mean, I think he had 5 sacks last year, didn't he? Is it conceivable that maybe if he gets more playing time and more practice time, that maybe he ends up taking a step forward? And let's say the Cowboys end up drafting another defensive lineman, and that now that Mozzie Smith is able to put weight back on, maybe he was in the doghouse with Dan Quinn, and Dan Quinn was not, he was not a Dan Quinn favorite. And he told him, you're a fat ass and lose some weight. I don't need a run stuffer because I need guided missiles to get upfield, and you need to become a pass rusher, and just literally lost him. And that maybe Mike Zimmer, who'll come in there, pat him on the back and tell him, I need you to tackle some people in the running. I need you to just eat up people. I need you to be big, fat, and sloppy. And now he's putting on weight. And that could be the motivating factor for him, that maybe, if nothing else, maybe he comes up. Sean, you know what? I've heard that about players before, Sean. But you have to understand there's growth in things that have to happen. Because I'm going to tell you this. Think back. I want you to think back to when we drafted the Taco Charlton. In fact, I'll pull up numbers to prove this, okay? Here's the thing. I don't know if you like DeMarcus Lawrence or don't like DeMarcus Lawrence. But here's what's interesting about DeMarcus Lawrence, okay? Let me give you a parallel here. And let me pull up the boys at Pro Football Reference, okay? Now, here's the thing. DeMarcus Lawrence gets a bit of a bad rap because he doesn't get all the sacks, but he is a guy that is a run stopper. He's one of the best run-stopping defensive ends in football. Here's the thing. Let's look at this real quick, okay? The reason we drafted Taco Charlton was we looked at the field and we said, we don't have anybody that can get to the quarterback. We don't have anybody that's out there that's any good. And they got desperate because all the edge rushers were flying off the board, and that was, I guess that was when the draft was in Philly. I think it was in Philly. And so when you looked at DeMarcus Lawrence's numbers, his rookie year, he got 2 sacks in the playoffs against the Lions. The next year, he had 8 sacks, and all of a sudden you said, okay, he's a player. Then in 2016, he ended up having he was suspended for a couple of games for PEDs, I think, and he was injured his back. And as you see here, he had 1 sack, right? And we were looking at this saying, man, this guy's a bust. We literally were. This guy's a bust. We got to get an edge rusher. And lo and behold, the next year, he blossomed. He blossomed with 14 and a half sacks. Yeah, 14 and a half sacks. There was nothing in what he did his first 3 years that said he could be a 14 and a half sack guy. So what if Sam Williams, with the right coaching, and understand coaching matters. Coaching matters. Dear Mark, I'm really getting tired of people who say the Joneses aren't doing anything. I mean, they must be crazy. I mean, you missed me yet? Signed, Jason Garrett. Eddie, I knew you'd be back, Eddie. Eddie B. I love you, cuz. Love you. So my point being is DeMarcus Lawrence didn't become DeMarcus Lawrence until year number 4. And maybe some of these young guys, that happens. That's all I'm saying. And let's suppose Mozzie becomes at least a part-time player. If he becomes anything at this point, that's a benefit to next year. He definitely has the body type that Mike Zimmer likes. And maybe Mike Zimmer can turn him into something. Because here's where you have to understand, Dan Quinn, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with Dan Quinn. I like Dan Quinn. I love what he did with our defense. But Dan Quinn believes in guys that are light in the ass, that are fast, that can get upfield, because I'm going after the quarterback. And that's great until we went up against teams that were running down our throat. And, of course, we had a linebacker that was 207 pounds. So Mike Zimmer will be a change and hopefully an attitude, because the other thing I have to say is, you know, when a child is born, child don't know nothing. Child does not know anything. A child is like a sponge, and whatever they're around is what they're going to soak up and become. And generally speaking, players will take on the personality of that coach. Mike Zimmer is a in-your-face, I'm going to yell at you, cuss you out, and I'm going to hold you responsible type of a coach. Dan Quinn is more of that, you know, I'm your best buddy, I'm your friend, I'm your mentor, and everything's good, and it's all love and everything else. And there's nothing wrong with that. But right now, I think those guys need a guy to put a foot in their ass and hold them accountable. Sam Williams is Boss Man Fat 2.0. No, Sanjay. I can't say that he is that. Yes, he made a whole bunch of boneheaded penalties and special teams? Yes. But Sam Williams, I believe, has about 9 sacks in his 2 years. Boss Man Fat did absolutely positively nothing. Okay, so Sam Williams, pulling up his stats, I think he's got 9 sacks, right? No, he's got 8.5. 8.5, 30 solo tackles, and 2 forced fumbles. That's quadruple anything that Boss Man Fat did. Okay, Boss Man Fat couldn't even make special teams. Well, no, Boss Man Fat was actually pretty good on special teams. He did make some special teams tackles, and he did have some boneheaded mistakes as well. But if you're saying Boss Man Fat, okay, no. Sam Williams, yeah, he crashed his car, but he wasn't in a car with somebody that killed somebody. Okay, it's not the same. It's not the same. Not anywhere close. And he's got a body type 6'4", 261 pounds, and can run a 4.46 40. That's a guy that you don't want to give up on right now, okay? Again, he's gotten 8.5 sacks, which is part-time playing. And so now that Dante Fowler's not there, now that Dorrance Armstrong's not there, he will get into that rotation. And the more he gets into that rotation, the better he should be, okay? Kevin, that was my idea, actually. I wouldn't mind experimenting with him since he has to play special teams, and special teams is working in the open field, and so much that maybe making him a middle linebacker wouldn't be a bad thing. But you also have the mentality for the middle linebacker as well, and being able to make the calls. But you got Eric Kendricks right now. But we'll see what they do. You're going to be looking at something different on this defense, and I believe that here was my analogy yesterday. Fellas or ladies, you got a new significant other, right? And y'all move in together. Do you want to have that same bed, mattress, nightstand, pillows, and sheets that another dude was sleeping there with her with? Ladies, do you want to be in that same bed and having that headboard that when y'all are doing, making babies, that kind of, do you want that same headboard? You want them same pillows? I don't think you do. I know I don't. I think that you want to have your new headboard, your new mattress, because you definitely want a new mattress. Definitely want a new mattress. And pillows and all that. So that way, when you're starting your relationship, you're starting off fresh. You're not messing with no stank. You get rid of all the old stank, and you start over. And I believe this is what the Cowboys are doing. And, we keep talking about a culture for the Cowboys. Well, they're turning over the roster, guys. They're turning over the roster. Leighton Vander Esch is gone. He had to retire. Dante Fowler, Dorrance Armstrong, Neville Gallimore, Biotish, Tyron Smith. This is the implosion. I don't know why y'all are complaining. Because y'all say, blow it up. Well, in essence, they're kind of, it's not the full implosion, but you're going to be starting over. So I don't know how to help you guys. You don't, no matter what they do, you're going to be mad. If we brought back the same guys, you would have said, oh, here we go. We bring back the same guys, man. We don't care about winning. Okay, we let them go, and we're going to try and reload. Oh, man, they ain't doing nothing. Well, wait a minute. They just got Mike Zimmer here. It's been 1 week in free agency. What if, and this is where I say, and I know this is a crazy pipe dream, but you're going to be getting more money around the 1st of June. It's advantageous for, say, Buffalo to trade Stephon Diggs after June 1st. And what if the Cowboys made a move like that? What if the Cowboys ended up drafting the next Tyron Smith, but healthier, and they got a running back? What if the Cowboys ended up making a trade and they bring in a stud defensive lineman? will we go still say, oh, the same old Cowboys? Let's see what they do in the next week. Let's see what they do after the draft. Let's see. There's still plenty of time to do this. They've been able to do some things that are really good. Walker Wade, the only way we should replace Dak is keep throwing darts and drafting quarterbacks with the late round picks. Oh, yeah, shout out to you, Walker Wade. You know, the thing that's funny to me is, like, right now, we're looking at the last 3 years of quarterbacks. You've got C.J. Stroud right now is looking like the best one. I could be wrong. And then you got Trevor Lawrence, who's a turnover machine, the Prince, as they call him on Fox Sports. And then you see all of these other guys. Zach Wilson is so bad. I want you to think about this. Zach Wilson is so bad that they're saying that they may have to trade him and another pick for nothing just to get him off the roster so they don't take a big cap hit. Think about that. Trade him with like a 7th round or 6th round draft pick to somebody for nothing. Bro, look at Mac Jones. Mr. I'm going to kick somebody in the nuts and stuff when I'm laying on the ground, dude, that nobody likes in his locker room. Justin Fields, who I can't believe they had to fire sale him. And, you know, we're going to say under 400 throws between college and pros, Trey Lance on our roster. I know so many of y'all think that he's ready to be, you know, Joe Montana, but I don't see it. I don't see it right now. I do want to show you guys something. First, let me thank everybody following and being part of the channel. And even I have to even thank you trolls. You know, you trolls, as much as you guys like to come in here and talk smack and everything. I appreciate you guys because you're part of the reason why I made it to 100,000, because you're here constantly telling me and commenting that I am an idiot and I shouldn't be on YouTube. And because you do, you are making me get spread more by the YouTube algorithm. So I appreciate you lower life forms that come in here to trash me. You know, Content M, appreciate it. You're an idiot, but I appreciate it. This is where it's kind of crazy, is how media has changed, okay? I don't really think of myself as media, but, you know, guys that really are media, like Jay Tuck, calls us all new media. But when you look around now and you see all of the news, all of the sports, all of the stuff, everything that is now on YouTube, and where everybody is literally getting all their stuff from social media, it's kind of crazy. And so you see what used to be the standard bearer of things and the way they were done evolve and change right in front of our eyes. And this is where Skip Bayless, I did a video a couple days ago about how basically his contract is up, I think, in August. And it'll be up to Fox to redo his contract or not. But February 27th, I think it was, his numbers were so low, it hit record rock bottom of only 50,000 views for that day. In comparison to when they used to do 600,000 and 700,000, First Take on that same day was like 600,000. To have First Take at 600,000 and you at 50 is not good. But what I was pointing out to people is Shannon Sharp should actually get more credit for what he was on that show, as opposed to Skip Bayless thinking that he is the everything. Because what you have to be is you have to evolve. And what I was actually saying about Skip Bayless, he's a name you know, but he is literally unwatchable. And I want to play this clip where he's talking about Baker Mayfield versus Kirk Cousins. and just listen. I don't know how long I can't listen to it for very long, but listen.
Think about this. Baker Mayfield played so much better last year than Kirk Cousins did. Baker got $30 million to stay in Tampa. Kirk got $50 million a year to go to Atlanta. I don't condemn you, Falcons. I know you were desperate and you had to plunge, but while I offered congrats to Baltimore, I offer you my condolences. Think of what Baker did last year. He opened up by beating Kirk Cousins at Kirk Cousins. Week 4, he went to New Orleans against their arch rival that Brady couldn't deal with. The Saints just had Brady's number, except in that one playoff game at New Orleans. And Baker did a number on New Orleans at New Orleans. It was 26-9. And he soon went to Atlanta, division rival. Hit Kate Otten with a late clutch touchdown pass, 36 seconds left to pull that one out. Baker is remarkably clutch and does not get enough credit for it. He gets better the closer games are late. Remember at Lambeau last year? Just when you thought the Packers were taking off,
the whole
Baker Mayfield played the first perfect passer rating game in the history of Lambeau Field at Lambeau. Playoff game against the Eagles, 337 yards passing. Playoff game at Detroit, 349.
Here's the thing, Sean. Okay, couple things. Actually, let me give you a little history lesson here because, see, I am old. I'm 58 years old. And I grew up in the Washington, D.C. area back when the Cowboys versus Washington was incredible. You guys don't understand what it was like with the rivalry between the Washington Redskins and the Dallas Cowboys when football was football before free agency, where the players hated each other and that it was literally war on the field. Back in those days growing up, I used to have Sports Illustrated, 52 issues a year. Get there on Thursday. That's where you got all your big football news. There was no sporting news or anything. It was just Sports Illustrated. And, man, in the 80s when they first came out with the swimsuit edition, I remember, this is how old I am. Christy Brinkley on the cover of Sports Illustrated, and her bathing suit was like a thong, but they called it the half moon. It was like, oh, my God. It's up her crack. That's a bathing suit. Oh my God, Christy, look, her ass. And not that she had a whole lot of ass, because that was before big butts really exploded. But be that as it may, you had Sports Illustrated come out on Thursday. You literally had to get the newspaper the next day to get all of the sports stuff because the news would have sports coverage for about 5 minutes until George Michael's Sports Machine on NBC4 was the first nationally syndicated sports show on Sunday nights from 11:30 to midnight, and they covered all kinds of sports. They did highlights all over the place, and it was okay. I'm sorry, Lola, you know I'm raw, okay, but I'm serious. It was like Christy. I mean, that was like 1983. I mean, when she was young. But I remember, I can literally remember because she was like on a little, like a little one-person sail. Her arms are up here holding the sail and everything else, and she's sitting on, on the back of it, so her butt's sitting off of the surfboard thing and all that, and so you could see it accent. And I was like, oh my God, okay. Now you got to remember too, back in the 70s when it was like everybody had the poster of Farrah Fawcett with her skinny self, in a red bathing suit. Okay, yeah. Okay, come on. It was a different world back then. It was a different world. Okay, so George Michael's was the first thing. And then it was home box office and cable TV. For those who don't know what home box office is, it's HBO. They called it home box office until they shortened it to HBO. And that's when ESPN came out with 24 hours of sports. And I remember we would say things, wait, how can they have a 24? There's not that many sports in the world. How can you have sports 24 hours a day? Seriously. Sean, Mark, nothing personally, but I believe Dak Prescott will have the same career as Tony Romo. Front office is cheap, and Stephen Jones continues to make bad decisions. That may be the case if Dak Prescott stays here and they don't do anything. I will say that some of this is in Dak's hands with this contract. If I'm Dak Prescott, I basically don't put a gun. I'm not going to say put a gun to their head, but basically I'll say, if you want me to sign a contract, and since I have the leverage, and this is where Dak Prescott, needs to use it, I need help. You want me to get a team-friendly contract? Okay. Then make my team friendly for me. Get me my offensive line. Get me my running backs, okay? Get me a defense that can stop the other team running. How about that? But that's where you're kind of wrong that Skip Bayless. See, Skip Bayless was back in the 90s, bro. And Skip Bayless was an ambulance chaser back then. Skip Bayless literally started a rumor about Troy Aikman being gay and then turned around and starts asking people, well, I hear people are talking about Troy Aikman being gay. Bro, that was you talking about it. That was you. He's always been a shit sandwich. And what's come to reality is he needs somebody else to make him look good. Skip Bayless is on his way out. So, I know you're saying I should respect him. I'm sorry. I've never been able to. I think Dak can't wait to be a free agent. $59 million. Actually, it's only $55 million now this year and $40 million next year. The realest fan won? Bro, if you're saying they should have traded for Justin Fields, then what was Trey Lance? What was Trey Lance then? You do realize that Trey Lance was drafted in the first round, number 3 pick in the draft. San Francisco gave up 3 number 1s plus for that guy. You do know that, right? You do know that he is on the roster and was on there last year, and they traded a 4th round pick for him. Understand, they traded a 5th round for Brandon Cooks and a 5th round for Stephon Gilmore, but they gave a 4th for Trey Lance, which right now seems like a whole lot in comparison to what quarterbacks were traded for this past week. Yes, Kevin, Dak Prescott has 2 playoff wins, the same as Tony Romo had. But here's where you have to look at this and say, is it the quarterback or is it the organization? Because at some point you can't say Dak was the problem we had since the 90s. Sorry. You can go ahead, by all means, play Trey Lance. Trade for Justin Fields, where nobody wanted to give up anything for Justin Fields. He went for a ham sandwich. Go ahead, move up and draft your Zach Wilsons and your Josh Rosens and things right now. Most teams would kill to have a quarterback playing for where Dak Prescott is. And they would do, if they had a quarterback like that, they would do everything they could to support that guy to help him achieve. Unless you're the Dallas Cowboys. The ratings are down, man. Oh, the ratings for Skip Bayless, for Undisputed, are awful. Awful. I dare say that some days I have more viewers than he does. Dak has had the most touchdowns last season in the league. We just need him and our boys to play the best in the playoffs. The rhythm has to be there. The thing you have to remember, guys, sorry, but you got to be able to run the football in the playoffs too and stop the run. And we could do neither, and we have not been able to do neither of those things in the last 3 years, guys. We just haven't. And that's where I hope that we do something. Now, Mark, quarterbacks do change organizations. Was it Brady or the organization? Here's the thing, though, Walker. Here's the difference. I'm going to tell you right now. When Brady left, he went to a team that was 8-8, that actually had a pretty good team, where you could look at it and say Jameis Winston had 30 touchdown passes, so he did have receivers. He just had 30 interceptions to go along with it. So, first thing, if you cut down on the interceptions, that team's going to win more games than they did with Jameis Winston at 8-8. Right? Then you bring in, because it wasn't just Tom Brady that came in. When you bring in a Gronk, you bring in Tom Brady with a Gronk, a guy who knows Tom Brady the way he does, and you end up bringing in some more studs like Ndamukong Suh on the defense that was already good, those things help a hell of a lot. Okay? Now, if the Cowboys, and Walker, here's what I'm going to say. If the Cowboys just brought in Tom Brady and didn't do anything else like the other teams did, we weren't going to win the Super Bowl. I'm sorry. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. You still need other people. When you throw the football, you need people out there that can catch the football. And Tom Brady throwing to a one-legged Michael Gallup without a running game in the playoffs like we did with San Francisco, with Noah Brown, Clifford Franken the ball and throwing it up in the air, sorry, you're not going to win that argument with me. Because when you see Matthew Stafford go to the Rams, they had a team there that was ready to go. A team by far more loaded than any Cowboy team you've seen since the 90s. And that's the difference right there. What have we done to support Dak Prescott as far as since we brought in Amari Cooper? We did that move. What happened? Team went from a 3-5 team to winning the division. You go out, you get rid of Amari Cooper. You go out, you got rid of Connor Williams, who now might be coming back as a center after he recovers from the ACL, because that's what the Cowboys do. They always bring back people that are injured. You got rid of Connor McGovern. You got rid of Lyle Collins. You got rid of Zeke. You got rid of Cedric Wilson. The only thing you brought in is Brandon Cooks. You didn't bring in a Gronk. You did not bring in a Gronk. You didn't have him, Mike, well, I guess you could say CD was, but okay, you got a CD, but you looked at that. You had, Antonio Brown. You had Mike Evans. You had loaded rosters. So, yes, Tom Brady is better than anybody else, but it wasn't just Tom Brady. Sorry. You just made the argument, don't bring in the big names. Oh. Unfortunately, yeah, that's one of the problems with the Cowboys. AJ, okay. Who did Brady lose to when he lost pieces? He lost to the Cowboys. Boom. And there we go. Mark Brady was 43 in Tampa. The mystic of Brady literally elevated the roster to the Super Bowl. Walker Wade, again. Jameis Winston the year before, 30 TDs, 30 interceptions. 30 interceptions. And they were an 8-8 team. You added more talent and a great quarterback. Of course, they were better. Not going to argue that they weren't better with Tom Brady. Not after Jameis Winston, 30 for 30. All right, good people. We are past our 10 o'clock bedtime. And I'm going to get up out of here. I have defecated on Skip Bayless. I have argued with the trolls and been told that I'm drinking a generic Dr. Pepper when I'm drinking a bubbly. Okay? And I want to thank everybody for being here and hope that we end up doing a little bit more. Mark, the Bucs team wasn't good when Dak played them. The Bucs defense was trash. Dak is good against trash defenses and trash teams. So let me ask you then, Linda. What happened to the Eagles? What kind of team was it when the Eagles played them? I'll wait. What kind of team was Tampa Bay this year? And what kind of team was Tampa Bay when they lost to them before in the playoffs? Mark, you need help. Stop talking to walls. Sean, good night, good people. And we're going to roll on out of here. And, Linda did. Oh, you didn't say that. Who said that? I'm sorry. Linda, I don't have my glasses on. I'm sorry. Oh, that was Sean. I'm sorry, Linda. Forgive me, Linda. Linda, forgive me. The Bucs team wasn't good when Dak played them. But okay. Linda. Sorry, lovely Linda. You were the comment before. You were saying the Eagles still have work to do, not playoff team ready. It was Sean, hater Sean. The Bucs team wasn't good when Dak played them. The Bucs defense was trash. Dak is good against trash defenses and trash teams. Okay. Thank you very much there, Sean. And appreciate you good people. Remember, keep your head up.
Disrespected yet? Does this defense have any heart?
No, they suck. I've been telling you all season, Philly.
Shit on you. They've shit on you. Don't you hear me? Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter, Slate, they shit on you. They've shit on you. They have shit on you. Don't you hear me? Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter, Slate, they shit on you. Kill them.